Good afternoon. I'm Nicole LaChapelle, Mayor of Easthampton, and this is my weekly update. This week we're going to spotlight a really big grant application that we put in to acquire open space on the side of Mount Tom. Why is this parcel on East Street so important? There's a great opportunity for every Easthampton resident and people throughout our region to access the beautiful view shed that's afforded from this side of Mount Tom. It would be the only access point, and it connects very nicely to the wildlife corridor that goes through Arcadia. I've invited our city planner, Jeff Bagg, to join me today to talk about the timeline of the grant, the importance of the grant, and what are next steps. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Before we start our questions, I'm going to ask you, what did you have for breakfast? We've done this a couple of times.
Yep, I had a banana. That's my favorite breakfast.
Consistent. And consistency is what you want to see in a city planner. Jeff, let's talk about the park grant.
Yes.
And where did the department go? Who are you speaking with about this grant?
Yeah, so I think to talk about the park grant, we take a couple steps back, and some people may remember that the parcel in question was subject of a 9-lot subdivision. So the owner of the property was actively pursuing the potential development of the parcel as 9 house lots. And then during that process, much to their credit, Kestrel Land Trust was talking to the property owner and working on getting an option agreement together that would potentially give the city some time to gather some funds to potentially acquire it. So we're very grateful and happy to be working with Kestrel Land Trust, Pascomic Conservation Trust, and the property owner, who are all kind of willing participants to try to have this parcel acquired. So the park grant submission was a couple weeks ago, and we put together a packet that really highlighted the connection of this property to the Mount Tom trails. It would be the city's only sort of free public access to Mount Tom. Right now, if you've ever been on Underwood Ave, which is off of East Street, it's a very steep, narrow road, and people often park there on the side, sort of very informally, and then walk the power lines up to get to the New England Trail, which is the New England Scenic Trail, which is very popular. So what we're trying to do is really accomplish some goals that are really clearly outlined in the open space plan and the master plan. So the parcel has been identified for decades. The folks at Pascomic Conservation Trust have been looking at this parcel for 17 years as a key parcel to connect Easthampton to Mount Tom. So the first phase really is acquisition. And so we're seeking a park grant, which is a grant funding source for active recreation. And we are also going to be using the Community Preservation Act funds, which is designated for one of the purposes is open space preservation. So we're hoping to hear back for the park grant in December for the award, and what we would then do is take some other phases. So next year there would be other grant cycles that would be suitable for applying for trail work or to construct a parking area. So that's definitely the vision. Phase 2 would be to construct a small parking area right off of East Street with a trailhead. And part of our vision, part of the community's vision going forward is to create another handicapped accessible trail that could wind through the property, much like the Mutter Field property on East Street. So that would be something that's a little bit longer term goal that would potentially happen over the next couple of years. So once the property is acquired.
So a complicated project. It started a few weeks ago with the application for the park grant.
Correct.
And then we kind of wait and see.
Right.
We find out about the grant, and then the next steps start to happen with the stakeholders that are putting this deal together. And we're looking at a couple of options that could happen after, whether we get the grant or not. I think it's important to note that all of the main departments in Easthampton are looking at grant dollars, and I'm encouraging them to go after every possible grant dollar, so we're getting what we need in the city, what our residents are looking for, but also letting folks in the state and federal government know that we're going to compete for every dollar out there to the betterment of our city. Jeff, any wrapped up conversations about this particular grant?
Yeah, I think one more thing. So, what we're trying to do collectively is really look at the master plan and open space plan for guidance on our priorities. And we've got quite a few properties that fit really well. So this property is listed in the open space plan. The master plan highlighted the concept of preserving key parcels in the outlying areas.
Yes.
But it also highlights, so the master plan in particular also highlights, goals and opportunities to encourage development in suitable areas. So that really complements our efforts on the district around Ferry Street. That's a property that could receive development really well, and it's been a priority since 2002.
Yes.
That's been identified as a key property. So we're pursuing sort of multiple paths: preservation of known identified parcels in the outlying areas, and then known development parcels in the suitable areas. So it's really sort of a multi-pronged approach that we're taking with grants and other activities.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
There's more information about this grant and other planning and economic development happenings in the city at easthamptonma.gov/planning. Have a great week.